Alright, what is going on, Guardians? Happy Festival of the Lost release day. And with Festival of the Lost comes all of these weapons that you can farm through the event. So, getting right into the video, I'm just going to talk about the roles that I'm personally going to be looking out for in PvE content and, what I want on each weapon. So, getting right into it, we have the brand new Heavy Burst Shotgun, the Arcane Embrace. So, this is going to be a hard-hitting 2-round burst shotgun. And it can get a good DPS perk combo that I think most people will end up farming for this role. I won't really use this in PvP personally. So in the first perk slot, we have 4th times the charm, which rapidly landing precision hits is going to return 2 rounds to the magazine. As well as in the second perk slot, we're going to be using Precision Instrument. This is going to deal sustained damage, and it increases precision damage. So with this fully procced, you can get up to a 25% damage increase with Precision Instrument, and that comes based off of precision hits. So, the thing with this, though, is if you miss, it will remove your stacks of Precision Instrument. But with the Slug Shotgun, you should be fine. Both of these perks involve hitting precision shots anyway, so that's why they go so good together. It is just going to be a good DPS shotgun. Now, how often are we going to actually use this? I think it's going to be pretty good, only because it is a brand new archetype that we have in the game, so I expect it to do pretty good damage. Obviously, Bungie wants to give us a reason to farm for the shotgun, so I assume it will be pretty strong. But there's also other perks, like you got Dual Loader, you got Threat Detector, you have the new, you have Lone Wolf, you have Volt Shot, which I wouldn't run Volt Shot on this, but there's also Surrounded, which is a 40% damage buff, and with a shotgun, you're going to be up close a lot of the times anyway, so you might be able to get a lot of use out of that. But once again, up to you what you want to go for in perks. There's also Desperado, which could be very interesting. Maybe like you get a kill right before you start doing DPS, reload, proc Desperado, and then, just have it go to town. But we'll see on that. I probably will still go for the 4 times the charm Precision Instrument. That's going to be my favorite perk combo on this, but who knows? Maybe some of these other perks will see the time of day. Now getting into the Sniper Rifle. This is mostly PvP. You go like snapshot opening or whatever, but for PvE purposes, there is triple tap and firing line, as well as you have Vorpal weapon. You also have Volt Shot, which you won't use on a sniper rifle or a shotgun. You're just not going to get much use out of it. So I would say triple tap with firing line or Vorpal is going to be what I'm looking out for the most, because triple tap rapidly landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine. You just pair it with firing line or Vorpal. With snipers getting that big buff recently, I'd say this is definitely worth getting your hands on at least. You probably won't use it too much, though, at the end of the day, to be honest. But, listen, it's there. You got to farm for it, right? We have the Pulse Rifle, the Jurassic Green. Now, this is a rapid-fire frame Pulse Rifle. And I actually really love this thing. I have a Subsistence Incandescent roll already on this weapon, and it is a lot of fun. Now, you have a lot of good perks here in the first slot. You have Loose Change, which applying an elemental debuff to a target increases this weapon's reload, aim assist, and movement while aiming down sights for a short duration. You also have Heal Clip as well as Subsistence. So between the perks on here, I would say Heal Clip is probably the #1 option, because who doesn't like Heal Clip on their weapons? Getting that health back after getting a kill and reloading always comes in clutch. Subsistence Incandescent is a lot of fun as well. In lower end content, you just don't really have to manually reload because Incandescent is just so strong. But in higher end content, you don't get much use out of Subsistence at the end of the day. So I'd say Heal Clip as well as Loose Change, because that elemental debuff, that Scorch, will be able to proc Loose Change. So you have that too. Those 3 perks are what I choose for. Me personally, I'd say Heal Clip is #1. Then I go Subsistence and then Loose Change for the higher end stuff. But my #1 perk combo, Heal Clip Incandescent, is just so smooth on solo weapons. You just can't go wrong with that at the end of the day. Getting into the BRCH Werewolf. Now, this is a pretty solid auto rifle. It's a precision frame. In the first perk slot, you have Overflow, you have Subsistence, you have Pugilist. You have a lot of good perks there, but me personally, I'm going to be going with Rewind rounds. When this weapon's magazine is empty, it will refill from reserves based on the number of hits. I love this perk on auto rifles. We can also pair this with Kinetic Tremors. So sustain kinetic damage to a target will emit a shockwave that damages any nearby targets as well. So being able to proc Kinetic Tremors, obviously with an auto rifle you need 12 shots in order to proc Kinetic Tremors. So having rewind rounds paired with kinetic tremors just lets you do more sustained damage, and you're able to get more kinetic tremor activations procced with rewind rounds. Then there's also target lock as well as onslaught, which is always fun on auto rifles. But my number one role once again for this that I'm looking out for is rewind rounds and kinetic tremors. We also have the heavy grenade launcher. Now, this perk is absolutely stacked in the 4th column, but unfortunately, it just lacks a mod like Envious Arsenal, Envious Assassin, auto loading, reconstruction. It just doesn't have any of those. It has Clown Cartridge. You have Enlightened Action. You have Impulse Amplifier. You have Reverberation. You have Withering Gaze, which could be interesting on this weapon. Aiming this weapon for a short period of time without firing will grant the ability to weaken the next target. Timer resets after firing or when you stop aiming down sights. So you're able to weaken enemies just based off this perk, but with the artifact mods of the season, you're already able to weaken enemies with geos. But in future content, you could maybe get some use out of this perk. It could be fun, but I don't know. I'd probably go bait and switch. It also has explosive light. You got Cascade Point. It does have really good perks in this 4th column. That's why I'm kind of upset that there isn't a perk like Envious or, you know, Reconstruction, just something that will automatically reload our magazine for us, because as we've seen from the dungeon geo, that rapid fire frame is just so good. Avoid 1. And we have other void geos, obviously like Edge Transit and stuff, but a reason to farm for this could be that Withering Gaze roll with that perk on it. But there's just so many other geo options that we have right now. I'm not too sure if I'll end up getting a roll on this at all. Like, obviously you have bait and switch and explosive light, cascade, but fortunately this first main perk slot just lacks that loading perk. These are just my opinions on these weapons and what I will be going for here in the Festival of the Lost. Let me know your thoughts on these weapons. What perks are you personally going to be going for? Your god roll is probably going to be different than mine, but this is just mainly what I'm going for on each weapon. Up to you what you go for at the end of the day. These are just my suggestions. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Hoppers.